Hello YouTube, RJ. Hey, today got a new instrument for the lab. Got to stay away from eBay. This one looks to be in pretty good shape on the auction. I'm hoping we don't have to do much to it. May need to be recapped. I could not get a image from them on the inside. Let's get it open. Let's see what we got. Could be handy for some of the things I've got coming up in the lab. Let's see what we've got. We got a note. Just the invoice. Set that over here. Looks like they pretty good packing put in there. That's nice. Oh yeah. Looks like they packed it good. That's good. Always like good packing. And this is something I didn't have. This is the probe coming out here. Didn't have wanted, and saw this one. Thought, what the heck? Seems to have been packed very well. And what we've got here is a Heathkit IT-12 signal tracer. Somebody had pretty clean looking original probe. It doesn't look bad. Looks like the eye tube's kind of deep in there. I think that's supposed to be farther out, but a little bit of browning around the switches here. Maybe I can clean up a little bit. But you know, this thing looks quite good. Feels good. Switches feel good. Well, it's the feet are original on it. We've got some original feet here. So, what do you say we get this packing off the bench, we get this thing open, and we see what we got inside. So, be right back. Okay, I'm back. Got a screwdriver. I noticed this is a little loose. Might want to tighten that up a little. There's a date back here, 3/15/77. I don't know if that means that's when people rebuild it. Who knows what that means, but let's see what we see when we get inside. I'm very curious. Give me a tray out here. Put my parts in. I don't know if it needs to be recapped or it's been recapped. I just don't know. I want to take a look. I don't want to plug it in until I see what it looks like inside. Who knows? Never know what you're going to find. You know, parts could be missing. Yeah, you plug it in and bad things happen. So, you know, wires hanging loose. I'm interested in trying to get it working well. So, well, I guess let me get the rubber band off of this. I don't want that rubber band. Let me just cut her off. All right, I'll get her out of her way. So what do we got here? Well, I think it looks pretty clean. I'm looking at capacitors. There's no wax capacitors in there. I don't know. This thing looks pretty clean. I don't know that I really am too worried. The electrolytic here would be the one that would bother me. Wonder what year that thing is. Date code looks like it might be 76. This thing looks in really good, really clean shape. This tube is slid back a little. Yeah, looks like it could use some adjustment. There's a There's some screws right here that let you line this piece up. They've got it off a little. Let me see if I can get it lined up. Maybe get that optical eye tube in a little closer to where it should be. Let's bring her forth like that. That's how it should have been. Okay. Well, I think what I want to do to play it safe is I want to bring this up on the Variact and see if I can, if this cap is maybe is not horrible, but needs to just have a little reforming on. I'd rather bring it up slowly and do that instead of maybe damage it by powering it up suddenly. So why don't we get this off here? Why don't we do that? Let's let me rig up. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got the Variac hooked up, feeding the isolation transformer. I can monitor current draw and voltages here and see what's going on. And so I'm going to go ahead and I've got the Variac turned off with just enough voltage on it to bring this up. I'm going to go ahead and turn the power on. Okay, so that's on. Speaker's on. This is on. Okay, so we're going to flip some power on. Should be pretty low. Okay, we're pulling about 9.9, almost a watt. So we're going to let that sit a minute, let that capacitor kind of reform a little, let everything kind of do its thing. I'll bring it up just a little bit more voltage, so I'll be back in just a second. All right, it's set here at 20 volts input, almost a watt of power. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up to about 40. There's 40 volts. We're pulling about 1.5 watts. I'm going to give that a minute. Okay, it's been a couple more minutes. We're going to go ahead and crank this thing from 40 volts. We're going to get her up to about 80. So far, no smoke. There's 75. There's 80 volts right there. I'm hearing sound. I see the eye tube glowing. Well, about 3.15 watts. Noise kind of went away. I assume maybe that's the tubes are warming up a little. Okay, we're 80 volts. We're going to take it up to 100. There's 100 volts. We'll let that set a minute. We've given it another minute or so. Let's take her up to 120 volts. There's 120 volts. Should be working. Good. Sounds like some pots could be cleaned. And you probably can't see it. Let me see if I can get her around here where you can see a little better. We've got the green tube if it shows up. So the eye tube is lighting up. Yeah, pot needs cleaned, switches need to be cleaned. There we go. Now we're off. Now I'm going to bring her back on. Couple things. I need to turn the eye tube liner up the right way. I need to be careful doing that. Why don't we kill our power here? And I can kind of half guess how far I need to turn her. Something like that. Let's try again. A little bit more. That's about right. Okay. Now, why don't we undo her off of all of this. And we put all this away. We'll see about cleaning them pots up, getting everything and testing everything out. Okay, I'm back. I've got my deoxit out. I've got this propped up on some solder here where I can try to kind of get into, I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see it, but I'm going to try to get into this pot and get a little deoxit in there to maybe try to see if I can work a little deoxit in there maybe and get her to behave a little better. I'm going to do the same with the switches. It's going to be best probably, see on these switches, I've got to come in from the sides a little. Okay. And then I'm thinking on this switch would be a good idea to go ahead and do while I'm doing it to kind of try to prevent problems in the future. Let's see, where's my contacts? Hopefully that's going to help us out a little bit. With a little bit of luck, I'll set these over here for the moment. We'll set this thing back up. We'll plug her in and okay, she's plugged in. I got to be careful. Let's turn her on. Should be warming up. There it is. A little noisy on that pot. Let's turn on, give me a moment. I'm going to get set up with my signal generator, very, very low signal, see if we can detect stuff with it. Okay, I got the signal generator rigged up with a little wire here, grounded to my probe. So let's go ahead and turn it back on. I think I'm picking up something already. Like all the way out here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Turn the sensitivity down. Yeah, I can pick it up way down the sensitivity. And I don't even have to touch it. One thing I do note is the eye tube seems to be pretty well fixed 3/4 or so. Unless I get a really strong, like when I first touch it, sometimes it'll close a little. So something's going on there. I don't think that's working right. Of course, it is closing up when that's closing up when I turn the signal. It's taking a lot of signal to close it up though. Once you get down to a certain point, the eye doesn't close any at all. So might need to look into that, see what's going on with that. That might be something for us to take a look at. I think I'm going to turn off put a little deoxit on the back side of the pot, see if I can get it in there, and go do a little research real quick on this eye, if there's an adjustment or what I might be looking at, and we'll go from there. So give me a moment. I'll be back. Hopefully we've got a good device here for the bench. But I found my next problem. See if you can get where you see this tube right here. Got a problem right there. So that's going to be part of my need to deal with. This one seems okay, but this socket is likely dirty. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that before I research the eye tube. So let me get that cleaned, put back in. We'll see where we end up. Okay, I'm back, and turns out that iTube, that is apparently normal. It appears videos I've seen, I'm not familiar with iTubes. This is the first one I've ever owned, to be honest with you. So it appears to work. Let me get it right here where you can see it. Let me see if I can tilt her back a little. I don't know how well you can see it, but you'll see that if I turn up, I'm not sure if you can see that or not. So turn up the sensitivity, it closes up to show me this how strong the signal is. So that appears to be working. This tube issue, little deoxit on the pins, put it back in, work it a little bit, and guess what? It's good as it could be, and this thing has become much more sensitive. We had a bad connection apparently. We had a bad connection apparently on that tube, so that got taken care of. Things seem to be working pretty good. One of the things I'm going to do is first, let's finish testing this thing out. This is an audio RF, so in other words, that's an audio signal, and I'm testing picking up an audio signal. I'm going to set my generator to like 4 megahertz with a AM 1 kilohertz modulation, and let's see if we can use the RF to find it, and if it works the way it's supposed to. So let me go flip that over right now. Let's put the frequency to 4 megahertz, modulating 700 hertz, and on audio, I'm not getting anything. Now, if I go to RF, since we should have some rectification going on there, it should be able to pull the audio off of that 4 megahertz signal. And it does. So I'm pretty happy so far. Okay, I'm ready just to close this thing up, put a couple screws there. And I think we've got a great new instrument for the bench. I think it's working really good. I was happy that I was able to clean that pot and get it to work acceptably. And the iTube's working. Actually working the way it's supposed to. I didn't think it was, but a little education on my part. That's what we're here for, to learn. By the way, I did tighten that handle up while I had it off. I don't want you to think I forgot about that. It's nice and sturdy now. So I think we've got a nice piece of kit here. I'm very happy to have it on the bench. I got some radio projects coming up, and who knows, it may very well be a requirement. So plug her in. Let's give her one more check out here. Only thing I didn't check is the noise thing. I probably should check the noise thing, so let's do that too. No, the last thing I haven't done is test the noise feature. And you got to be real careful with that, because when you move this noise switch, it puts like 100 something volts in that probe. So you got to be careful. So let me grab a component. Let's just, for the heck of it, check it out. Okay, I got an old damaged resistor, and I'm hoping it's kind of noisy for us. So let's hook it up here. You can do this in circuit. You got to make sure the component can take 100 something volts. Okay. And again, we need to be careful with this, because you're going to have high voltage on this probe, the tip of this probe. So let's throw it in noise. I don't hear anything. The idea is if it's broken up inside, a lot of times it'll make crackling noises and stuff. So the question is, it putting out the voltage it's supposed to be there? Let me turn that feature off. Let's grab our meter again. I'll put some probes on it. I'll take a quick gander at the voltage. Let's see what kind of voltage we're seeing. Are we getting what we're supposed to? Sometimes what will happen is, we're back over in noise. No, I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing my voltage there. I guess I'm going to have to check into that. Maybe we have another problem. Maybe I should have waited. All right, so we do have another problem. So it's time to dig in for that one. So let me pull the circuit up and look at it and see what I need to be looking at. I'll be back. Well, I pulled up the schematics. Pretty straightforward. Off of one of the feeds, around 115 volts come into this switch, and when you switch it, it literally goes from there through a 68K resistor into the center of the probe. So this shouldn't be hard to diagnose. Let me unplug it. We're going to have to go back into the meter. Now, the first thing, I guess, to do to try to work this out, let's get this to lean over on something where we'll be okay. And then I need to find out what's on that switch. So there's 122.95 DC on that side. The switch is, let's turn the switch. Let's try this side now with the switch off. At 0.3 volts, flip the switch. I've got 122 volts. Do I have 122 volts here? No, I don't. Let's put this in RF. No, I am not getting anything coming out of there. Why? Why is that? That resistor runs from here over to a pin here. Let's see if I can safely touch that. And I've got the voltage there, and that's going to the center of this cable. Now, that doesn't make any sense. Unless the problem is on the ground instead. I've got power coming out. I've got power across that resistor connected to the center probe. There's power going there. I'm going to try to get on the shield of this wire. There's power going out the shield. Between the shield and the center to this is 120 volts. And why it's disappearing, I don't know. And the ground must be intact because I was reading it using the grounding lead here. That's my connection. I'm not getting it out of this probe in either connection. In either switch mode of this probe, I'm not getting that out. Okay, we got some troubleshooting to do. Why is it going in and not getting there? Well, it means something in the probe's going on. So I think we got to get in the probe now. I'm wondering if it's open in this probe and it's just picking up the RF on high signal, but it's not as sensitive as it should be. I didn't want to take this probe apart, but you got to do what you got to do to make things right. Yep. I think that was broke and it was not making connection. That's what the problem was. We need to get this probe out and fix it. Exactly what the problem was. This wire was not making contact up in there. It had broke off. That's exactly what had happened. So this wire Goes up through there and then wraps here, but it has broken off and you've just got a little piece up here sticking out. And so that's why it wasn't working. It was working as an antenna, so at a high enough signal, we were picking up what we should have picked up. I got a feeling this will be a lot more sensitive to touch when I'm done. But there's the little piece of what was left of that wire that had broke off, and that was why we were not getting voltage through there. Now the problem is going to be this wire. It's probably going to be too short now. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and unsolder this wire and see if I can find me another piece of wire to put on there. So give me a minute to go chase that down and we'll get this thing fixed right. Okay, made up a piece of wire to replace it with. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get this one off. At least I'm going to try anyway. Give me a little solder. Get a little fresh solder on there. Maybe it'll come off a little easier and quicker. Oh yeah. Okay. Get her set up here and get her on. Get everything hooked back up. Okay. Now, got to get all this back together now. To make sure everything's the right distance and everything, I got to get the switch screwed in. Okay. Now, if I'm right and that's what's going on, we need to get this up through the tiny hole there, which is going to be a challenge. Wasn't that bad. It actually went a lot easier than I thought. Get these holes lined up for these screws. Okay, now you wrap this around this like this. And this squishes the wire down and makes contact. Okay, now If I'm right, we're unplugged, we're off. There's no voltage going on. I want to see continuity between this tip. And I'm going to do is click this here, go to continuity. Okay, do I have continuity down here? Yes, I do, all the way through, so that's good. How about continuity on my ground? Positive I have that, but okay. All right, now I don't know how we couldn't have that voltage on here now. If I connect everything up, I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Let's get it all complete. That way I'm testing with it all together. Okay, so we're at the ground there. Here's this probe. Let's get her plugged back in. Okay, let's get her back on. We're already in the noise mode. Coming up. Oh yeah, now we got our 100 and something volts for the tube. Oh, I think it's going to be a lot more sensitive too. I think that's going to make this thing much more sensitive without a noise. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this thing's going to be like way more sensitive. Let's get this and this hooked together for our ground. And turn my signal generator on. Oh, I'm already picking it up. Oh yeah. Way more sensitive than it was. I'm way down on. There's bottomed out. There's maybe not even 10%. Yeah, I can turn this way down now. I can turn this way down. Yeah, that's it, picking up 2 millivolt peak to peak. Wow. Okay. Fantastic. Now let's try the noise function again. See if it acts like it's going to do anything. It's kind of unwound a little here for me. Okay, so set up something here to make it kind of stay steady for me because I'm going to be putting some voltage on this thing. There's the noise setting. He's not noisy, but which is funny, you'd expect him to be, but bad as he is, you'd think he'd be noisy, but he's not. Okay, but we got our noise feature. It's working now. Yeah. Pot's working good now. Things are working good. Hey, let's get her back together. That's gonna do it, man. We just we worked our way through till we figured everything out. We got something good working good now. So I'll throw the cover back on. Give me just a minute. Okay. Now all I've got to deal with is I want to get this goo that's on this thing off without trying not to take the audio off. So let me get some stuff, try to clean on that a little bit. All right, I'm thinking some alcohol and my little foam Q-tips. See if I can clean this off with that. Without getting any of it on the words that are already somewhat faded. It's doing it. It had a sticker or something, tape or something they'd put over the words, I guess, to protect them. Didn't turn out too bad, I don't think. And I can't get the audio back, but it was already missing the very beginning of the word, but good enough for me, I think. Hey, I'm really happy how this turned out. Thanks for hanging out with me. We got another piece of equipment. We got it working good. Everything works on it, and it's ready to be used. And I got a feeling I'm going to need it. I got some ready work coming up. So thanks for helping me get this done. And hope you'll hit like if you enjoyed the video. And if not, hit dislike. That's okay too. But most of all, I hope to see you in my next video.